see it.
Traditional custodians of the land within the Shire. We acknowledge and respect their continuing for the 23, this meeting is being live streamed, although they can't still, but we have an apology. Chief Executive Officer, Executive Management Development Services. Members of the public, we have 3. Maybe that's a stress. Member, councillors, are there any disclosures of interest in any responses to previous?
Are up around the North Road area to wait a further 2 months, at least 7 months since the road was last maintained.
The road for the first set of rains and then to build back the roads.
That's the response. Okay.
And maybe then I can respond. Adopting to ensure North Road is April, May and September.
Can you respond?
So last year we almost dissipated completely. At the moment we don't have a plan other than working on need of repair. North Road is one of our key roads to get to, and we have got limited resources, so neighbouring local governments and also with
9 months of heavy traffic. We had the road graded 2 months to a week and a bit ago, a few days, and have a look at it. Response to have North Road. Are the Chittering Shire councillors going North Road instead of the...
So, yes, we do maintain those roads. It may not, for example, you suggest we go and see North Road, but that is in a much more dire condition than in funding to maintain as best we can. Priority of North Road, I believe that's true. That's and also obviously to have the staff to do the work. So I think, I'm not, again, there's only so much money to go around, and I guess we'll have a look at later quarter of the year or and that goes back. We put funds in to do the vegetation, clear and trim that vegetation, so you're not being ignored. Make sure our roads are all safe.
All the gravel roads is really other ways of bonding and stabilising time to just come up with plans that are...
Message is you're not ignored. We understand.
Yep, fair enough.
I'd just like to say that Michael and ongoing processes with North Road. So we're quite happy to meet.
So you meeting with staff is fine, right? Yeah. As council, you're doing your budget deliberations. The budget, then that's the funding that the CEO's got to work within. Now would be, we are, don't think we have capacity to do a certain amount of work. So understood. And
I think you're wet from winter rain. So given it a really good grade with what it's going to cost you.
Understood.
It's bull.
Of how seriously we take probably about September, October, 7 times along the way where 7 kilometres it was slippery or it was whatever, and past about subsequent deterioration.
More strategically, maybe that would hold the gravel road together a bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thanks, councillors.
Okay, item 5, present. Skip the page. Councillors, we have officers. 0 carried without dissent. 6-0. A confirmation of minutes of ordinary council meeting, please. Council. No, it was council.
Not really anything that needs commenting on, Mr.
Thank you, Councillor. Sure, quite I assume. So, no one speaking. Item 8, announcements from the presiding member. That have been helping out of the community and also the community. And then, obviously, just a few announcements from me. First item is CS01. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross, thank you. Speaking against the officer's recommendation? Speak for?
It's $10,000 for...
So we normally have debt collectors and monies when that gets...
so that $10,000,
ratepayers in one go.
how much do we charge to recover the...
statutory fees that have to be... But but it's not a once-off single charge.
Thank you.
Recommendation to the vote. All those in have an officer's recommendation to receive this. Councillor Ross,
I so that everyone can scrutinise them.
speaking against the officer's recommendation. 6-0. Councillors, you have an officer as a sponsorship of their 60th anniversary.
Our assistance when we need it, and so I'm.
Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr. President. Important because we do receive the benefit of their service.
So is anyone speaking against or wish to speak for?
Maybe I've missed something, but I think
And they brought how they'll do a reptile park, and so that for
Anniversary.
it's-
So
bit like a petting
it
mobile
does seem to be cost effective and smart.
sponsorship, and which was 3,000. Thank you, Councillor Dewar. Councillor.
This money should have, so it should have, well, this one for now
Was for equipment and personnel. So
too.
good luck getting that out of them.
So just probably to our communities to be better prepared, more resilient, have a chat with the public about getting more, as they are our first responders during,
Thank you, Council Service. It's a volunteer $3,000, but we can support them with $1,000 to help them to recruit. I've never had the need to call on them, but recommendation. Councillor Angus, you have right of reply.
the DFIS money and the emergency service assisting in recruiting. So I think
The officer's recommendation to Councillor Dewar. Councillors, you have review with a closing surplus of Councillor Ross as the mover. Seconded.
It was an annual requirement of the legislation on. We're in the unfortunate situation, significant budget rewrite on this and relevant officers about, and also that the process, what the items are, the foundation. So this is in place of the financial year remaining. So I'm happy to support the budget.
Further to Councillor Ross's comments, there clearly was an error in the failure to bring forward some of these projects that are currently on the books wouldn't have made it on the books anyway. So we note for the community to note that it's likely that these deferred projects were part of Council's budget deliberations for funding for the next financial year.
in the officer recommendation, there's a blank value.
Yes, please.
Oh, it's that one there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item here, 107 solar air conditioning, because there's a lot of money being spent out that repeating.
Curtis, it's been deleted or deferred. What's been deferred from? Well, Councillor Curtis, you'll get to have those discussions.
Gates and that, and now they've been pulled out. So
Budget and it'll be considered as part of the budgetary process. We'll leave that to the correct time. Sorry, 1 minute. I was the seconder.
No thanks.
Okay, no problems. Candidation to the vote. All those in favour? Business is CEO 01. Happy to move that one myself. Generally, the monthly statistics.
It was a drug test. Described, so
Okay.
it was cleared.
Drug and alcohol policy. So I think, and given it was a
I think you're right. It does give us confidence.
wish to speak against the officer's recommended declare carried without dissent. 02, undertaking a proposed amendment 3 for officers. I'm not going to. Yeah. If you do.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can read them all. Okay. Well. That's a first for me. Never done one of those. CEO 03 compliance for return and received and confirmed. Councillor Curtis. Councillor Curtis.
Probably just to accept the
To speak for was extremely positive that the administrator eyes send score. So let's see.
Nothing more to add.
Thank you. And internal controls. Title. Can I have a move? Councillor.
Happy to support this. Reviews like this time because these, and it's important because in any organisation, being people, sometimes it's good that this has happened and the outcome is a good one.
Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation?
I just want to speak
Sure.
accountants or auditors or 5 to C of the local governments. Does anyone else on council know what that means exactly?
There are certain specifics in-house. One of them is, so theoretically speaking, some of that is what it's doing here.
That's confusing.
It is how we process finance and procedures where they highlight things on a basis. This is
Does anyone wish to speak to the officer's recommendation?
My view on this is that as the governance body, because this is published in our papers, action management of the Shire is going.
Recommendation. I'll declare OM01, minutes with resident and 24. Can I? Second.
So I accept the officer's recommendation. You choose as a good name.
Thank you, Councillor Kurtic. Councillor Angus. I'll just make some that is likely to step down in the future, the office bearers. So was of the view, was other than the understanding on the responsibility and cost. I don't think that has it for the mountain bike group anymore. So it's a bit disappointing. So that's.
Yeah, Mr. President, and it gets up and running. Membership club at the something happening there. Nothing.
Sorry, Mr. President. Groups like what they have been asked to contribute.
I think this, what makes this group a little bit not the appropriate time to wind it up just yet.
People losing interest and it's
No one speaking against the officers. Sorry, motions of which previous notion?
Just 2 questions, Mr. President. The hasn't received any notification from me sure that we don't spend any money installing these
That's your question. So your question?
No, the question is
Worrell, yeah.
that we don't spend any money on the.
CEO confirmed that Worrell has been notified.
Right, yeah.
And then ended up to confirm that Worrell has been notified.
Yeah, Worrell, don't want to spend the money on these.
And then the formal approval from council.
Sorry, when was
This
that?
was on the 16th of February.
Which is what? Of Good Sammy's or?
Discussion on that.
So that the confidential. Possible.
And are we buying speaker?
The Community Energy Upgrade Fund.
On 30th of April 24.
If-
Hang on,
if
you've asked
not,
the question.
Why not?
I would have to take that on notice.
Well, if it doesn't close for another 6 weeks, then
Where we would not have to make a significant ties in a
So we cover both bases, all right? So has will. No other questions? Item 14, matters for winter confidential session. Councillor Angus is the mover. No one speaking against the officer. trouble because I didn't do it last time. Yes. That council received 24001, an accommodation RFP S 1996. Request for proposal bin and accommodation RFP SC2 in relation to developing block 801 on deposited. Act